Hello, hello! Today I decided to take a quick look at a cruiser that I have long considered, that has long been one of my favorite cruisers in the entire game, and that I've long considered an extremely strong cruiser. It's obviously the Cleveland, as you can see, and the matchmaking is, well, I think that this is a pretty realistic matchmaking to feature in the game right now. In the past, I didn't really have too many issues with the Cleveland when I got matched up against T8 matchmaking, because I honestly always considered the ship to be so strong that it could deal with T8 matchmaking quite easily, honestly, like surprisingly easily compared to other ships. That's mostly because the ship is like heavy, very spam based. It's you spam a lot of HE, you get a lot of fires, and fires tend to scale regardless of enemy ship level. Of course, you have a harder time setting fires the higher tier they are and so forth, but in general I haven't really struggled much against enemy high tier matchmaking, or high tier matchmaking in general. So I decided to take a new look at it now, since with 0.5.9 you are constantly ending up against T8 enemies, and with the recent inclusion of the German battleships, the Scharnhorst, and of course all the Bismarcks and Gneisenhaus and Bayerns and all this that you end up facing. So I went on my alt account that I don't really play too often, but I decided to go in on it and have a look at exactly how well can I perform against T8s in the Cleveland right now in the current meta. So the map isn't exactly the most optimal Cleveland map. It's a bit too open, too wide and too open, so you can't really abuse the terrain too well. The Cleveland has quite lazy US arcs. It's actually quite infamous for the very slow shells. And naturally my hope when playing the Cleveland is always to get a map where you can abuse the terrain a lot and you can shoot the cliffs and such. Much like you play the Atlanta, it's honestly what I would consider a slightly better Atlanta in pretty much every single way. And of course my hope was to find similar type of terrain, but unluckily this map is pretty far from it, so honestly I just took it as a challenge. How well can I do on this map against T8, which is not very favorable. I just noticed I had AP loaded by accident from last game, it seems. Still, the plunging fire, I got 1 penetration, 6 bounces, so obviously not worth it if someone is angled. Now, one of the things that I always loved about the Cleveland, besides the incredibly rapid fire rate and the quite good turret traverse, is the angles you can fire at. It actually has some of the best angles in the entire game for cruisers. You're able to fire it very steeply forward and very steeply backwards, making it a very good chasing ship and a very good kiting ship, especially a kiting ship. Because of the slow shell speed, you're not that good at chasing, but you're quite excellent at kiting. So if someone's chasing you, you just flee and spam HE backwards and burn him to death. That's something that's always been very good at. That's a bit sad to watch. The Kutuzov T8 cruiser, obviously you saw that many of my shells are straight up being blocked, dealing 0 damage. There was 7 shells I hit on him and 7 0-hit shells with HE. That's of course a bit sad to watch. Switching to AP since he's popping out, so I can actually get some good AP hits on him maybe. Oh man, the amount of 0 HE damage you do. But that's always been against the Kutuzov, or in general all the higher tier cruisers. And he's bouncing, he's too angled, he's already bouncing, I need to switch back to HE. So far, we'll see. Honestly, it's a bit too early to tell. Kutuzov has always been a bit of a struggle for this ship, because the Kutuzov is essentially a even better Cleveland in every single way except at T8. It's got self-smoke, it's got incredible arcs and so forth, so maybe not the best comparison to make. Honestly, I'm just trying to harass him and get him away from there, because hopefully kill him, of course, because Kutuzov is a huge threat to all my friendly battleships. Now, it seems my team for some reason is very much abandoning B, which I don't like. We had a good cap advantage. All they needed to do was defend B, but look at the battleships, because I mean I kept going in there and contest it and hold it. They're pushing in with Scharnhorst, Nuremberg, North Carolina. I can't possibly defend it against them, so some battleships needed to step up and defend it, but all the battleships are just fleeing, which is quite sad, because honestly if we lose B, then we are at significant disadvantage, and we already are at significant disadvantage. We've already lost 3 cruisers. Luckily though, I got a fire going in North Carolina, and once again, I'm doing what I spoke about. I'm moving very slowly in between. Whenever I see his guns aimed at me, I speed up, of course, but I'm just spamming HE on him, hoping to get some fires going as I kite away. He should be dead by now. My fire will kill him eventually, unless he dies from... Yeah, I think my team will kill him now. He survived surprisingly long. Okay, it's not done yet, but we do have a disadvantage. Nuremberg. If he was closer, I would use AP, of course. The AP is actually quite potent against broadsides, but it loses a lot of potency against any sort of angled chip, because of course your shells are, was it 155 the Cleveland had, so any sort of angled chip will just bounce your AP very, very easily. It's definitely a broadside only type of AP. Oh, someone got a citadel. I didn't even see who shot me. He shot me from behind an island or something. And because, well, we have no map presence, so we have no one spotting or even seeing them. So that's a bit bad. Maybe defend B, retard, says Sander. I actually recognize that name. He's quite a good player, but he's sitting down here at A as well with the rest of them, so I mean, it's all good and that, but one of those battleships should have gone to defend B a long time ago, maybe him included, I don't know. Then again, he might have been here defending A. Honestly, this entire cluster of our battleships just sitting down at A is pretty terrible, because we just gave up B entirely for free. Here I'm trying to see if I could find some good place to utilize what I said was one of the strengths, meaning being able to spam over islands. And see if maybe that way I could... Oh, I can spam over that small gap, but I'm too exposed here. I can't just stop here and spam. But once again, we have no map control, which significantly weakens the Cleveland again. Because we have no map control, you can see the enemy ships are surrounding us from every side, so there is really no safe spot I can just park and spam, because my concealment isn't nearly good enough. I mean, I don't have a 15-point captain or anything since I'm playing on my alt, so I'm playing like any other Cleveland player would be, like a pretty much default captain and all that. I do have Demolition Expert, but then again, by the Cleveland you should have Demolition Expert on any ship regardless, so... Gonna pick, since our Turpitz is charging in, I'm hoping he's gonna take all the aggro, so I'm picking out. Here you can see I'm switching to AP now, after I shot my HE woman. And it's exactly against stuff like this, against broadsiding battleships or cruisers, where the AP actually starts to chunk them quite well. Hopefully I'll be able to show it. Well, 4.5k, not that much, but when you start doing it every single volley with the rapid rate of fire that you have, then it suddenly starts adding up. That's quite a lot of damage. But he's turning away. Yeah, he's turning away too much. One last volley, now I'm switching to HE, see if I can burn him to death. This guy really needs to die. Nice, okay, still somewhat doable. Of course the cap disadvantage is going to become an issue, as is the map positioning. It's hard to make something happen when you're surrounded from every side. We lost another battleship, now we're kinda dire. See if I could maybe get the Farragut. The issue here is that, of course, I'm being shot at by everyone over here, so optimally I would like to charge in and kill him, but you can see there's battleships on my right, battleships in front of me. It's impossible for me to angle against all of them and rush the Farragut at the same time, so ultimately I'm forced to turn away. And this is another one of those things that lack of map positioning brings you, basically. You can't angle against everything at the same time. And that's why if you got a straight even map dominance, then you can always angle against the enemy, because they're only going to be on one side. But if you give up map positioning like we have done here, then the enemy is going to be everywhere and you can't angle against them all and so forth. I'm going to discourage this. Atlanta is trying to spam my Bismarck, so I'm going to discourage him a bit by shooting HE. You can see he's turning away because of the hits I'm getting on him. Now he's already starting to turn away and kite, which is good. Now I'm switching to the Scharnhorst. because the further away you are from a Cleveland, the harder it is to hit. Because as I said, you can see how lazy the arcs are. That was always one of the things I kind of liked and disliked about the ship. It's very hard to actually play the ship well because of that, because you actually need a lot of prediction to really make these guns work for you. And you see bombers coming from my Sander, for my Bismarck. I'm trying to see if I can save him. I pop defensive AA and focus target planes. That's of course one of the superior strengths of the Cleveland, is the incredibly good anti-air on it. These are, I think, T7 planes, and I have absolutely no issue shredding these planes at all. So definitely one of the strengths. So against equal tier planes, you just absolutely murder them. The Cleveland is a monster in anti-air. So that's obviously one of the strengths that it kind of retains even to higher tiers. Okay, I got a fire he can't repair. I'm hoping to get another fire on him. Trying to hit further up in front of his ship. If you hit the same spot you have already set on fire, then you obviously can't get a new fire there. You have to hit spots that haven't been hit before to get that new fire going. Torps, I'm not worried at all. I'm focus firing these fighters that are shooting down my defensive plane, but yeah, I'm not worried about these torps at all. The Cleveland turns and handles extremely well, and honestly, DDs have a very hard time dealing with you unless they get a perfect ambush surprise or something on you. But this game is turning extremely hard now. Killing this DD, well, this DD is going to die. I'm not certain what he's doing. Is he trying to rush me or something? You can't rush a Cleveland, not in a DD. Just spams too much HE too quickly. He just insta-dies trying to do that. I guess he was left with no other positions to go. The Scharnhorst really needs to die. Slow him down, see if I can get some hits with the Scharnhorst. You see how much of a lead I have to take? Even though it's a slow moving turning battleship this far away. The shells are just so slow. No fire, unfortunate. Now I have to keep moving. I can't just sit there as much as I want, but with two battleships and potentially a third battleship somewhere out there that I can't even spot. Just sitting there with showing full broadside is a death sentence. The Scharnhorst died, luckily, so still doable. The issue is naturally this Bismarck. Atlanta I can easily take on 1v1. Atlanta gets absolutely shat on by a Cleveland 1v1. Close range, my AP eats him alive. Long range, my HE melts him, and he has even worse arcs than I do, so it's very easy for me to kill him. The Atlanta in general can't really take on cruisers at an even footing. At close, very close range, it does okay thanks to torpedoes and AP and such, but in general, the Atlanta really can't deal with the Cleveland at all. Nice, getting some fires. Oh damn it, he had repair active. German repair lasts 15 seconds. But I'm just gonna keep spamming HE on him regardless, just for the damage. Now I know his repair is gone, of course, so I'm trying to get another fire. Still active. It's unfortunate. There we go, that's a fire that will stick. Now I need to get another fire on him as well to kill him. Points keep ticking down. I hope this cruiser body of me up north isn't giving him full broadside. Looking at the minimap, it looks like he's giving him full broadside. You might see I'm kind of reversing behind a cliff here and abusing my arcs. So even if he tries to like aim at me, he's gonna have a hard time hitting me. Now I'm gonna start moving forward. Looks like the planes are going for me out of all people. But my defensive AA is up again, so I just focus fire them and see if I can burn down this Bismarck. Yeah, no issues with dealing with these planes at all. T7 Ranger planes, they just have nothing against Cleveland and there. Damn it, the points are really ticking out, we need to get this kill. I don't know what our battleship down there is doing. I don't know what anyone from my team really has been doing this game, this has been such a struggle. But overall I've still been like satisfied with the Cleveland. I mean, I've been wrecking stuff left, right and center. I have well over 100k damage, planes are still no issue, and the fantastic arcs, maneuverability, turn rate, everything on the ship, they are still as effective as ever. Switching to the Atlanta since it looks like he's pushing in. Nice, I got another fire on Bismarck. This is so winnable. And I can easily wreck this Atlanta. You see how much damage I do just with HE on him? This is such an easily winnable game. But I think the timer is going to run out. Because my team didn't contest B at all. They gave up B entirely for free. I mean, it is weekend, it's Saturday, so obviously people don't really have any clue how to play. But that was a bit frustrating. That was a perfectly winnable game. Game ended. Still made up 400k credits. Got confed. Team score. Well, I think the team score speaks for itself. When it comes to dealing with T8, the Cleveland still does very, very well, in fact. Much better than I expected. I mean, the Germans, sure, they got Turtle back, but that doesn't really affect the Cleveland at all. They'll burn just like the rest of them. So, let's see. 25 planes, or 282 hits? Yeah, 282 hits. 40k fire damage, pretty close wither. I'll take it. As usual, I'll start with the modules. Range is of course my first pick on the Cleveland. The hull is great, but I think the stock range of 13.3 kilometers is just too stifling. So range first, hull second, guns third. Premium repair, highly recommended. You don't need a premium catapult fighter, but I kind of like to run defensive premium simply because the AA is so fantastic on the ship. I just enjoy using it, and it tends to shoot down a lot of planes, so I like pimping it out a bit. Gun upgrade, main armaments mod, aiming system. You can use AA guns mod too as well for bumping up that range from 5 to 6 kilometers, but honestly 5 is plenty, or have been plenty for me. But if you want to play with the carrier, for example, if you queue up with division mate with carriers or battleships who want your AA, then using it might be a good idea. Damage control and steering gears for the rudder shift. Captain wise, well, this is of course a fresh captain, as I said. I'm playing on UMALF, my alt account, which I play every now and then. And of course, basics of survivability, expert marksman, vigilance, demolition expert, and I'm saving up for concealment expert. I'm going my standard US cruiser captain. Anyway, that was my Cleveland commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed it.